Welcome back to the channel. Now, in this video, I want to address or fix a small little issue that we had or that we have on the Vuetify components project, and that is whenever on the initial load, it does not set the it doesn't set the login component as the component. So you basically see a blank screen. So that was what we saw in the last video that we recorded. So let's cd into the project and open it in code. And I'm gonna start the server. Clear, start the server. In the meantime, let me just show you why this is happening. So we have on here on the model here the current item for the tab that we're clicking at. However, what happened is that we don't have any attribute down here called current items. As a result of that, we're not necessarily getting any current item. So if I should go to localhost now /88, well, port 8080, you'll see that it doesn't load. But if we click on the tab, it should set the current item. So you can see now if we click back, it sets it. So it doesn't set it as default by default, and that's because we don't have the current item. So there are about 3 different ways that I see that we can fix this problem here. One, we could pretty much just copy this here and come up to current item. I select both of them and I paste it in both of the different areas so you can see it there. The next thing that we would need to do is actually just remove this here. Do we have to? Actually, I don't think we do. So let's just save this. And actually we do. So let's just remove it then. So what we need to do is to remove this here so that the value selected is going to be the item, and the tab that we're going to be clicking to is this one. So we're concatenating the hash key with item or hash character, whatever. So now you can see that it's now loaded. If we refresh the page, it also loads. If we go to the different components, they work pretty much just the same. Not pretty much just the same. This one has the issue where if we click on these, it's gonna take us back to the different components. So this is an issue with this method of fixing a problem. So we solve it, but we have a new problem. So this method won't work. So I'm pretty much going to revert this. So go back. The next one that we can do is to pretty much just add this current item variable or whatever here, and then in here what we can put is tab login, because the first component basically concatenate the first component here, which is login. And here you will now see that we have the value tab login is just going to concatenate the name of it, the name of the item or the component basically, and it's the same thing here. So if we save this, it will do the job. So you can see that it's already loading all of this, and even if I click on these, it's also going to find the different elements that we need. Now the problem with this one is that we're not necessarily registering showing the exact component that we're on. The thing is saying that we are on the register component. However, that's not the case. We are on a different component. And if I should go ahead and actually um what is it now? I think, let's see, this is the tab for more tabs. So if I try to print the component out, let's say now h1, and in h1 if I print item, what you'll notice here is that it does not print out the items under more. it only prints the ones for items, even though it is actually being concatenated, which is kind of weird. I don't know why that is the case. We can try it for item, current item, and it gives us tab login. If we click on um, forget password, it doesn't give us a name, and it's the same thing for the app component. So I don't know if this doesn't give us the actual name of it, just gives us like the file path and the name of the, well, this isn't the real name of the component, but we want the other thing. So we could actually use this, and I think this may be something that I may actually go ahead and use, to be honest. But I'm going to show you the other method first before I even use it. So we could do something like name, but if it works, then yeah, we could use it. So that will give us that. Let's see if we click on this, what it'll do. So it doesn't give us anything because assuming it's not picking it up. So it's not giving us anything at all. No, it's not giving us anything at all. So that won't work for us. So next thing to do now is to try the next one, which is basically this is the primarily last method to fixing this issue, and it's just to go to vuetify.com. So it's the way that Vuetify implements their way of doing it. So let's go to UI components, tabs, scroll down here, and pretty much all that we need from here is just um this call to the function, and this was right here. And we also need a method in here. So let's go copy that. And I'm doing Control C to copy. So paste that in there. Let's see here if we have everything that we need. Yeah, pretty much the case. So basically what this add item method is doing is just adding an item to the array. So to one of the arrays and then removing from one of the arrays. That's pretty much what it's doing. Adding to the items array, removing that added item from the more array if it's already there, or basic first it adds it to the more array if it's not there, or then it adds to the items array back if it's not there, or whenever you click on it. That is it in a nutshell basically. So if I save this now and go back here, and if we click on this, you can see that it changes to the different components that we want. However, for me, this doesn't really fit my needs as much. So this is a workable way of doing this. And if you like this method, then you can go ahead and use it. But as for me, I don't really like it. The reason for that is because I think I had mentioned before in a previous video that I want certain components to be at the up here, and then the more components would be in the more, and that's where they're supposed to be. So look, for example, now we have these two components which are not primary components and they are showing up here, but we really only want um we really only want the login and the register component to be here. Maybe at some point we could actually add it over here as a drop down menu from as another menu from here, and maybe we could work it in that sense and not necessarily have the tabs. But as for now, I don't really like this method. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna leave the function in there, and I'm gonna just copy this comment out and then paste it here, and then I'm gonna just remove this and set it back to the component. So this is the initial one that we're using just now. So we have the tab and adding it to the item is the same thing down here. and then we can click through these. So what I want to do now is basically to identify the different components that we're using. So pretty much to do this, I'm gonna go to, if you notice on the login forget password, you have this little message up here. So we can pretty much just do that across the other components that we have. So I'm gonna go ahead and copy this here. I already have the forget password, so we don't have to trouble that. I'm gonna add it right here for the login, so we can remove that um, and put it right here and just say login and copy again because I had cut the other one. Then the thing, we can do this for the register component as well, and it just changes to register. And for the for this component, because of how it is, you can see that we have a class of background on it, and it's actually registering a background to it. It's not gonna align the way that we want. So what I'm gonna do is just to create a V row in here, and I'm gonna align it center because it's not gonna align center by default. And I'm also gonna justify it to the center as well, and we will have it centered. Can paste that in there now. Bring this over. A little bit of formatting. And here we can just give it the name. I think it was profile. What was it called again? Oh, profile card. Profile contact card. And there we go. Can look back at this. Format this as well a bit. And the same thing for the login. We're just gonna format it a little bit. And I'm gonna go ahead and do a save all. And refresh. So now if I refresh this, we have the name login, so we know that we're on the login component. If we go to register, this says register, but that doesn't look all that great. See if I put it in the right place. No, I did not. So this should have been inside the card. Is it? Let's see where I put this. All right. Forget password. This is the one that we're copying from. So it was inside a card. So this should be inside a card. Let's remove the space. Tab in. And that's the same thing. We're gonna just do this quickly. And for here, this should be the same. So let's save this. Save all. Now it's up there. Over login is up there as well. Forget passwords already has the name. This is there. It's not highlighted as maybe, but that's pretty much fine. So yeah, so this is what I want to use for this. So this is pretty much it for this tutorial. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.